everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun video we're going to be back over at the laser. More specifically, the Longer Ray5 20 watt diode laser engraver. Now the more I use this tool, the more I find myself liking to teach on this tool. You know, people reaching out to me asking like what materials I use, what settings I use. Keep in mind, throughout everything I am using the Lightburn software. Hopefully you can see it loaded up on the laptop there off to my side. Now in the last project video we done on the 20 watt laser, we cut out cardboard. Now I want to go into another medium and do wood. I've already got my material selected here, and it's 1/4 inch material here, and you can see and hear like it is very light. There's not a lot of weight to it. We will of course pre-sand this before loading it into the laser. The design I have got picked out today is an Easter design. We are in the Easter and spring season, and I thought it would be a great project to laser cut something out of that 1/4 inch material to showcase what the laser is capable of. Now in the last video I didn't get the best footage that I thought I could on the inside of the laser, you know, on the interior of the enclosure. It's very hard to film from the outside looking in, so I've got out my old GoPro Hero 3 camera, so hopefully we'll get some better footage here. And before we formally get started, I hope there's a little slideshow of how we got the design prepped and everything. Keep in mind, it is a Steve Good scroll saw project. A scroll saw project is like what you see behind me and what I am primarily known for doing, scroll saw woodworking. I even done a project of his on the laser for my mom's birthday, where I just took the design from the PDF pack you download. I took a screenshot of it and imported it into the Lightburn software and dialed in my settings, and I made this design here for my mom's birthday. Keep in mind it was meant to be made on a scroll saw, but I cut it out over on the laser. I already have the design picked out, as I said. We got to do a little bit of prep work and get the GoPro set up on the inside, but once we do all that, we can get started. And before heading to the laser, we will quickly pre-sand the material we are going to be laser cutting the design out of. I always pre-sand everything that I can before I load it into the laser. And now over here at the Longer Ray5 20 watt laser, we will install our piece and hold it in place with magnets, and we will frame the piece out. And before we actually get started, we will see a few screenshots of the design here before I hit start. As I said, this is a Steve Good scroll saw woodworking pattern that's available as a free download over on his site. And you can see the design we're going for is very intricate here, and I'm really happy with how this design looks with all the floral detail and all. But once we get a screenshot of it, we will import it into the Lightburn software and trace the lines. And one thing happens here when you trace scroll saw patterns, you get a double line. So what you have to go in and do is simply go in and delete the extra set of lines, and then resize your design to the size you want, and you are ready for laser cutting. And we have begun here, and this is the view I see through the safety window on the enclosure here. We will transition to the other camera, the GoPro, here in a second, but this is the view I had for the whole process. And for the whole time the laser was running, I did not leave it unattended. I was doing other stuff in the workshop and keeping watch on it periodically. Now we are on the interior view here, and you can see here the whole interior of the enclosure. I was very happy with how this footage came out, and obviously the footage is sped up, but you can see the laser doing its job, and it's cutting through the 1/4 inch material here with one single pass. And you can also see how the enclosure is working by keeping all of the fumes from the glues and the laser itself enclosed in the enclosure, and it's being piped out of the back through the dust vent you can see in the back of the enclosure, and then that is piped out the back of the workshop into the open air. All in all, it took the laser around 30 minutes to do this design from start to finish, and with all the intricate details, it did it a lot quicker than I could have ever done it over on the scroll saw. So I always see possibility and versatility with tools like a laser, and lasers are becoming more and more affordable for people who are only weekend woodworkers or weekend hobbyists. but we can see now that the laser is on what I would call the final outside cut to release the piece from the waste wood. And when the laser is done doing its job, I will leave it still for around 5 minutes to make sure all of those harmful fumes are piped out the back of the workshop before opening the enclosure. But when it comes around here, all of the laser work will be done and we can prep for scroll saw woodworking. Again, I made sure all the fumes had been piped out, and then I came back and removed the magnets and removed our piece. And it goes without saying that the piece is very fragile, so I was very careful with it. But I took it over to the workbench, and a scrap piece of 1/2-inch plywood. I used the washer technique and traced around our design here to get a perfect 1/4 inch border all the way around. But once I was satisfied with this, it was time to head over to the scroll saw. And with this being basic 1/2-inch plywood, I am still using my tried and true number 5 ultra reverse tooth blade for all of the scrolling here. And it's just a simple perimeter cut where we will release the backer board from the waste wood here. But once this is done, we get our first visual of the finished project. But now I can go sand the backer board here with Klingspor Woodworking Shop sanding sheets front and back. And then I will spray paint it with a nice burgundy color that is the appropriate color of the Easter season and holiday. But I will give it several coats, and once I am sure it is dry, it'll be time to glue the piece to the backer board with medium grade CA glue and activator. And even though the CA glue basically cures instantly, I still like to use spring clamps and strips of wood to add pressure to those small and center details. But I'll give it around 5 minutes to dry and then come back and remove the clamps, and then it will be time for a finish. And I will give it several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss for a finish, and once it dries, the project is complete. And here we have the completed Easter design, laser cut primarily over on the Longer Ray5 20-watt diode laser engraver, of course, with the thicker 1/2-inch plywood backer board being cut out over on the scroll saw. It finished up amazingly well with some very nice and clean details in it. Thank you, Steve Good, for another fantastic scroll saw woodworking pattern from your pattern catalog. Once again, this was meant to be a scroll saw woodworking project from start to finish. I just wanted to see how well the laser engraver would do making a project like this, and how well it did, my friends. It only took the laser 30 minutes to laser cut this completely out of the 1/4 inch material here from start to finish, and that just blows my mind, because even with my years of practice over on the scroll saw, I could never cut an intricate design out like this in only 30 minutes. So please keep that in mind, and just another versatile way to use a scroll saw woodworking pattern. And you can easily tell what everything is in this amazing design. You have the Easter bunny, a nice decorative Easter egg, some springtime flowers at the bottom, and the word Easter at the top in the shape of a cross. The cross, of course, representing the true and very real meaning of the Easter season and holiday. But everything came out very great and looks beautiful. I think the burgundy backer board on it really makes the lighter color of the 1/4 inch material we used really pop and stand out. And again, I'm just trying new files and testing new things over on the laser. And if you guys want to continue seeing laser engraver content over here on the channel, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll be happy to bring content like this to you over on the laser. Of course, all the projects will not always be scroll saw patterns like this. It was just a design that I wanted to show off because, of course, the Easter holiday is right around the corner, and it is one, if not the most important religious holidays in the religious calendar if you are a religious individual. As you guys know, I try to be as faithful as I can, and I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form. I fall short daily of what I could potentially probably could be, so please just keep that in mind. And I just thought it was a very beautiful design. The laser cut through everything nice and cleanly, and it didn't char or burn anything, and I'm just so amazed by that. And just a unique and versatile way to use a scroll saw woodworking pattern. Now you could flip it to where we just laser cut it today. You could flip it, as I said, and engrave this on something like a cutting board. If you had a nice big piece of material you wanted to engrave this design on, there's always the option for that as well, for multiple uses for every design you ever pick up, no matter where you get it. This is not the very first scroll saw pattern I've ever done over on the laser, just to test out this theory. If you guys remember, last St. Patrick's Day we cut out this Jerry Bear design, part of it. This is part of another project that I've done and documented fully and completely over on the scroll saw over here on the channel. But this was the second piece of intricate work that we stack cut, and I just again put a 1/2 inch backer board on it to really make it stand out and pop. I imported this design into Lightburn and shrank it down to make a nice little 3 or 4 inch cross here, and you can see that. I could probably never get this intricate detail over on the scroll saw. I probably could if I went to maybe a number 1 blade, but you guys know that I like using the number 5 ultra reverse blades. But still, just showing off the potential. You could use a lot of scroll saw patterns, shrink them down and make them into ornaments for the holiday and Christmas season, or even refrigerator magnets if you wanted to add a backer board to it. So a lot of potential going forward, and I really look forward to the journey. Laser engravers are now becoming more affordable than ever before for hobby woodworkers, and they're becoming more accessible to people and becoming more and more easier to use, if that makes any sense. But I hope today's video has inspired you guys to get out and try something with your lasers if you have one. If not, I hope it has inspired you to go get this pattern from Steve's pattern catalog and cut it out on your scroll saws. But either way, I hope you guys liked today's video. I enjoyed making it and really showcasing what the laser could do. I had a lot of fun in today's video, and I hope you guys did as well. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.